Hello everyone, welcome to this new session right here. How's it going over there? I just want to make a quick check, a quick audio check if everything is okay. Audio check. Can you hear me? Can you all hear me? Wow, 27 degrees. Well, okay. Okay, who's here for the first time? We're going to start right now. Yeah, audio good. It's okay. Very good. Hey, Lucy. Wow, so many people. Hi, everyone. Very good. So, simple question. Who is doing React Native already? Right? Who's working with React Native? Oh, Shada is there. Shada is an amazing iOS developer. So, first time for a lot of people. Me, it's my first time. Okay. Here. Okay, first time for a lot of people. Very good. Okay, so let me introduce myself for the first timer. So my name is Davy, and I'm a software engineer at Hackages. And at Hackages, we are just a group of engineers. Some people think we are all about JavaScript, but we do more than JavaScript, and we do quite. It's all about education at Hackages. We share knowledge, we help clients with their project, and we organize a lot of workshops. For example, during this difficult period, we've been giving those webinars online, and we gave our first set of trainings online using our platform Zoom, and we were able to take people from 0 to 60% in knowledge acquisition in technologies like React Native, Angular, and so many other things. So you can find more information about Hackages on this website. So you can go on hackages.io and have fun there. So welcome, Emmanuel. It's the first time for him. Wow, it's a lot of first timer here. What brought you here? What is the thing with React? My gosh, a lot of first timer. Fantastic. So if you're a first timer, don't forget to subscribe because we have tons of great stuff coming your way. So we just keep supporting our work. All those webinars are free. They're gonna be online for free on our YouTube channel, and you will be able to also have access to some private content that we're building at Hackages. So don't forget to subscribe. There is a little button in the corner right there. You see that? Yeah, just click that button. So that said, yeah, let me just give you this link so at least you have it. So you can go on hackages.io and find more information about us right there. Okay, so that said, I saw people saying I'm only using Angular and React and not React Native. So it's gonna be the first time for you with React Native. My gosh, okay. Wow. We have people from Brazil. Wow. Okay. So very good. Let's just dive into the code, and we will be coding for a good 40 minutes right here. So let me stash this, and we can start from a blank slate right here. So we have a simple React Native app here, right? So I was able to run that already with I was able to run that by creating a new project and then just get that project up and running, right? So there is not much really here to do. So if you're new into React Native, just assume that it's React I'm about to say much cooler. Well, I think so, but yeah, it also has a lot of constraint, but it's React for mobile, right? So that shouldn't be quite a surprise for most of people. So if you've done React, you should be fine right here. So as you can see here, I have my, on the left, I have my, okay, I think you don't see my entire screen. So let me make sure that you can see my entire screen here. Can you see my entire screen? Do you see the mobile? Because I don't think you do see that. Oh, okay. I think you don't see my entire screen here. So let me make sure that you see it. Let me move it here a bit much better. Because I have it full screen, but I feel like you weren't able to see this. Fantastic. This is much better. Now you should be able to see the code on the left and the app on the right here. Okay. So let's put it right here and let's put it this way. Yeah, fantastic. So let's examine a little bit of the code right here. So we have, that's the simple React, what you get out of the box when you start the application. However, something, as you can see on the title, it's all about TypeScript. I really want to focus on the fact that I'm in love with TypeScript. I don't know what that thing did to me, but I can't do really much without this technology today. So when I have to give a training to a company and they say, we only use JavaScript, I'm like, what? Why? They still pay for that, but it's really hard for me to do this kind of training. So if you're looking for a training, don't ask me JavaScript, raw JavaScript. I'll be able to explain you that, but without TypeScript, I'll be like, this is really hard. Okay, so keep that in mind. So as you can see here, I have this starting app. So we're just gonna clean that up and make sure that we only focus on the essential right here. So TypeScript and React Native. Let me show you something here. So you have TypeScript, React Native, and TypeScript here. So you have, it's in the official documentation of React Native. You have this little code here, this little snippet that shows you how you can start an application like this with TypeScript. So what do you get out of the box? You get this app where you have on the left, so I'm sharing with you the project structure. There is the index.js. Did I just say JS when I'm talking about TypeScript? Yes, it's JS. It's just the entry point of the application. So that part there will just be it really doesn't matter because they're using Babel behind the scene to compile these applications. So they're basically saying if it's a JS, well, let's just start from there. But then if it's a TX, they're gonna compile that. So from the index.js, I go to the app TSX here, and as you can see, one of the main difference is the TSX of that says basically TypeScript. So if you go inside the tsconfig file right here, you will be able to see that we're mentioning somewhere. Let me take that for you. So there is a part here where we say JSX and we point out to React Native. So that's basically a way to say TypeScript, this is a React Native project, right? So the compiler will behave accordingly to this. Okay. By the way, if you have any question, please write them right there. I can read them right away. So and be able to answer. Don't forget that there is a little bit of delay between what I say and what you see. So if you type in the chat, I will see it faster and be able to reply, and a few seconds later you will get an answer. Okay, so let's keep going now. That's a very good question. TypeScript may impact performances considering considering there are more verification. No, there is no link between TypeScript and the performance of your app, because at the end of the day, your app will be a JavaScript app. It will be a JavaScript app. It's not a TypeScript app. TypeScript is documentation. TypeScript is there to help you write cleaner code. That's basically the point. So it helps you work with other people to express what you want in your code, but it won't prevent you to. It's just JavaScript at the end of the day, right? With better ways to express yourself, right? The main point there is to understand that the final result will be a JavaScript code, right? So we can see that right after here. So as you can see, it's the app TSX. Now let me clean that up so we can just focus on what is important for us here. For this app, I don't need really much. Let's say I'm going to remove everything here that is not let me take from here, and I can remove all these things, right? So I'm just gonna add a view here, and as you can see, for the people that are new in TypeScript, in React Native, I'm not using div, I'm using view, right? It's kind of the equivalent right there. And if I want to put a text, I don't use a span or H1 or H2. I'm using the text here. So let's say here React Native TypeScript, and what do we have? We have GraphQL. Oh, that's a lot of things to cover in one session right here. Okay, so we have that. So you can see on the right, I have a live reload. For people doing iOS, see, I'm beating you on this part, because just by changing my code, it updates. How fast is that, right? So now I can basically say I can style this by saying that I want this thing to be, for example, the font size to be something like the 30. And the font weight to be something like bold, and you will see on the right away that my application updates, and you see what I wrote right there. So there is this quick feedback, feedback loop that you have in the application, and that makes working with TypeScript with React Native really fast. But so far, I'm not really talking about TypeScript. I'm showing you React Native, so there are a few things that we are mixing right here. But let's get to the bottom of what we're supposed to talk about today. So we have our application running, right? So how can you make sure that, for example, if an application or if a component is using a set of property, you can actually type those properties using TypeScript. Like when you see that file, there is nothing really that says TypeScript beside the TSX right here, right? So the way you will do that, we're going to say, for example, instead of writing this like that, so instead of passing that view here, what we're going to do, we're going to pass that into a component, and then we're going to pass the props to that component. Okay. So let's say that. Let's do that right away. So let's assume that the title of that view will be exactly what we wrote right here, right? So let me copy this and put it right here, right? And then now I can go here and then say, let's put title right here, right? So that I'm just refactoring a little bit, right? So this component here, if we see it, we understand that that component will be using taking a title right here. So what I could do, I'm gonna move that onto another file, but I'm going to write that here for the moment. Let's say view component, right? So that's just a component here, and what I'm going to do with that component, I'm just going to say this component is going to return that view right here, right? So now I see I have the title, so I can say, well, the title will come from the props that you're going to receive here, and now you can say props dot title, right? So that's once you do that, and then right below, when I do so, I can come here and say, let me add that view component, and just doing option space here, you can see that I can say, like, I can pass the title here, for example, and say title is equal title, right? So as you can see here below, I just refactor that. What I did, I create a view component and I pass the title right here. Okay, so now when I have that title, I can go up here and it says, okay, once you receive the property, the props, you can pass that right here. But as you can see here, something is like, what is that thing? What is props? And what do you want to do with that props? And this is basically your IDE. So I'm using Visual Studio Code here, saying that thing isn't working really well. So you can fix that then by either say, okay, this is any. If you do that, you owe me €5. I warn you, right? If you were there last week, you know that I'm not a friend of any. So what you will instead do, you go here and then you define an interface, and then you say, for example, that's the props, right? And then you say, okay, my props has a title which is of type string, right? That's what you will say here, and then you will come here and then say, I'm going to use iProps right here. This is much better. This is much better because what you're basically saying, you're saying that right here, you can now type props and right away you see there is title. However, you see I have an auto completion that says now you have title. So I can accept title here and my application will still work. However, when I had this any here or actually nothing, it was difficult to just say props and then I type dot and I don't see really anything happening right there, right? So I can just now say title, but that's because I know it's title. However, when I type it right here, I'm making my code more resilient and easy to express what I want. Okay, so that's the first step. That's a basic step here. So for people out there saying, please move that component away, well, slow down. I'm doing it. So we go back here and we're going to create inside our project, we're going to create a folder called component, and inside that component we're going to create our view component .tsx, because it's a tab, it's a React Native thing. So I'm gonna put it right here, and now I'm just going to import the things we need, the text, and then we have it right here. So I can save that, and now I can say export this. I'm exporting that component, so I can go back right here and then say import that component. Okay, so when I do this, well, it won't be really happy because it's going to say that yeah, okay, I imported that component from here, right? However, I think I need to say, so view component comes from here, and I need to tell that I'm going to import from React. I need to import React here, right? So that should fix my problem. It's saying that cannot resolve component view. Yeah, why can't you? Yeah, okay, that's weird that it did this. We're inside app, so we need to go, yeah, one each, and that's it. So we just needed to move one level up. So as you can see here, let me remove the things we don't use to make our code a bit much cleaner. So that is one step. The step that we did is basically saying, well, we have a props, and then we assign our thing this property here. Now, if for example you were using a class instead of using if you were using a class here, you will say, for example, export class, and then you say view component, and now that thing here should extend React component, right? Now you have your class, and to type it, you will come here and then say this is iProps, right? As you will pass the props here. Technically, what I'm doing right now has nothing. Like it's the same thing you will do in React. If you were there last week, that's basically what I've shown you, right? So I'm gonna quickly go through that and then move you to we gotta try to integrate our application with the backend and then get the data from a backend using GraphQL and see how we can type our code using TypeScript and GraphQL in the same bundle. Okay, so here I just need to use the render function, and then my render will take that return, put it right here. So and that's it. That's all I'm gonna do. So I see that I cannot find props here. Indeed, it's because it's not props anymore. It's this dot props dot title, because I'm using a class right here, right? So I reached the same, I exactly achieved the same result, but if you go here, you can see that I have this title available right now because I passed that over here. But if I didn't have that part, I will have exactly the same issue. Like when I type, I don't see title. However, part of the signature of this component is to have the title available here. And as you can see, I put title, my app works, and that's for Hamza. It's important that you see that part here. See, the app on the right is still working, but the title right here is in red saying, well, property title does not exist on type read only, whatever it's saying right there. But the point there is like, it's TypeScript is telling you the one writing the code, that there is a problem, but it doesn't prevent the app to run, right? Because it's basically saying, well, I just can't find it inside props. That's why you will use a typing just to say, and don't forget, typing is about documentation. You're just using a typing to say, well, it's there. Don't worry, it is in there. Okay, so that's the idea. Now, this is super cool. We basically discuss like the basic things about React Native, about TypeScript. So now let's bring that to onto another level. So I have a backend running right here. So you'll be like, how the hell is you call that a backend? So stay with me for a second. So I have a backend here, right? I don't know if you can see this, but I'm gonna make sure that it's in full screen. So you tell me if you can see what I'm showing you right here, right? So I have a backend. Okay, something is fishy, doesn't work. Okay, now much better. Can you see that? Yeah, it's just reloading. I think it just went dead for a few seconds, but that's all right. So I have this backend, and here I have a set of queries, right? So the way you write queries, you basically say, I want to access the post, a list of posts, and inside those posts, I want to get the title only. So when I run that, I see like I have this list of posts, right? So that's basically our backend, and the URL for our backend is here, right? So I'm using GraphQL right here. It's not really a complicated mechanism, but what I'm about to show you is a combination of it's a combination of how could you put that? It's a combination of using GraphQL in the backend and then connecting to using GraphQL on the front part, so on the React Native part, to combine everything. But I have a question for you so far, because you've been so quiet, so I want to see if everything is okay so far. You thumbs up, thumbs down, thumbs in the middle. You're getting it. You want more or you want less. That's also possible. Okay. Gotta push a little bit. So we have a yeah, a good half an hour. So I will be able to get this thing rolling. Okay, let's do this. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to connect that backend, and the way I'm going to do that. So I need to install a few dependencies right here. So what I'm going to do is to add a few things. So I'm going to use the library Apollo client. I'm going to use React Apollo. So all these things there, you can find them online. I'm going to use a library called Apollo link. Yeah, all these things, it's just I mean, you don't need to know them. We're going to use an in-memory data caching mechanism in memory, right? And then the last one that I'm going to need for today, it's going to be Apollo slash React hooks, because why not? We're going to be using hooks to make things happen right here. So let's do this. I just did yarn. I should have said yarn. Okay, great, people. Great for the thumbs up. So let's add that, all these things in the project. So we're adding all these little libraries, and then from there in our project, we can now move to our code. And here we're going to do a little bit of refactoring right here, right? So let me make sure that we have the things we need. So space, what do we need here? We're going to need a few things to connect our backend. So the first thing we're going to need it's the Apollo client. So the way I do it, I always just type like this and then say, okay, that's the way I always do it. I just type first the import, and then I go back to that object and then say I want Apollo client. So it gives me some suggestion, and it's much better right now. So what do I need with the, what is the client? The client is the thing you use to connect. You configure that, and that you use that as a proxy to query your backend or your endpoint. Okay, it doesn't have to be really. You shouldn't think of it as a backend really, but mostly like a endpoint to get some data or to be able to communicate back and forth with that. Okay. So I also need a provider. So, and that I get that from React Apollo. So I have that, but I have many ways to get a provider. So that's a provider. That is the first one that I'm going to use. We're going to need the link, right? I'm going to explain. I'm going to show you how to put them together in a way in a few seconds. But the idea there is like, those little things, they come together to create the client, and I'm going to use the URL of the backend that I've shown you right there, and then connect everything together. So I need the Apollo HTTP here, and the last one that I'm going to need, it's basically HTTP link, and then the last one I'm going to need is from the memory caching mechanism. So memory, in memory cache, right? So that we have it. Okay, so everything here on top is basically Apollo related code, right? All right, so now we can go here and then create our client. So I'm going to create our client, which is just a new Apollo client, this one. Then here, what we need to pass, you can see that I have a link. And what is the link? A link is just a new HTTP link. And inside here, I'm gonna need a URI, and that URI is gonna point to, guess what? Just gonna point to this right? That's where we wanted to point to. So I go here, and that's the first thing. And now I have this, and I'm going to need a caching mechanism. And then here I can just say new in-memory caching mechanism, right? So that's it. You can see how I created a client, right? So it's pretty simple, right? And now, as you can see, the only thing that is missing is the fact that I haven't used the provider. So what is the provider? The provider is basically, once again, the way you wire up everything together, right? So the way I will do that, I will just go here and then say, let's add this provider. And the provider, I'm going to wrap my provider around everything that I need, everything what I need the data to flow in, right? So in my case here, I'm just putting it around the entire application, and I just need to set up the provider need a client, right? And that basically all I did here. I just set up like provider, here is the client you're gonna be using. So let me just do this. So I refresh, and you can see my application is still working, and I don't have it's like really nothing is happening there. It's just I connected to that backend part, right? Now what we're going to do, we're going to list all the posts here, right? We're going to list all those posts. So the way we're going to do that, let me quickly get right. So okay, so what we're going to do here, we're going to create inside our component, we're going to create a post post component here, right? So the way technically that I will do this, I will say post dot component like this. So it's same thing for this one. I like to just say this is a view component, right? And then it's basically the way I will do this right here. So always. So here in my code, I should have everything still working. And now we can go inside our posts, and we have this part. By the way, here, thanks, but no thanks. If I don't need a state, I will probably go and use just I will go and here and then use a function, a simple function. It's just a better approach here for me, right? Right. So now it's good. I just need to. Okay. Now let's build our post here. So what do we have? We're going to need a few things. Well, actually, we don't need much here. Let's say we're just gonna add a React. We're going to add React here. Yeah, okay. Maybe I can just copy from here because just thinking how I can do it in the easiest way possible. Yeah, okay. Let's do this. We're going to add React Native here, and then from here I'm just going to take a view, a scroll view, right? And then we're going to need a set of views, and we're going to use the view component as a way to render our thing, right? So let me add a function that we're going to export, and we're going to call that post view, right? So here it's a function. So what do you think is going to be the props here? Props. Look, you have it there. List of posts, and basically it's an array of things that contains title, right? So object that contains title. So I can say that. I can say that. I will say this thing is going to receive some, let's say, data, and that data is it's an array of something that contains title. Well, we do have something that contains title. We have this thing that contains title. And what is it really? It's a post. So let's say we're going to create interface a post, right? And what a post has a title and a title, and we're going to say it's a string here, right? So now I can say here we're going to have a list of posts or data, and that data is gonna be like a list of posts, right? So that's basically it. And then when I do this, I can now say here I have my props, and I can say iProps, right? So that's what I have here. Or if you want to be even explain that much better, you can say you can keep it like that, and you say props for the post view here. So it will just make it. So I have this, and now I need to render something here. So what I'm going to render here, I'm just going to assume that when I receive this, I'm gonna receive an array of things here, right? I can call that post actually. So it's an array of posts. So I'm going to receive my post that will come from props.post, right? That's the thing. And I can even give it like a default. Oh no, why not? Why can't I do that? Why can I do that? Because it will say yeah, it could be never, but why would you want to put never here? Ah, yeah, okay. Oh well, okay, that's, let me skip this part for the moment. So I have a list of things here. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to say for each post, I'm in React. So what is post here? It's an array. So why aren't you showing that? So I should be able to map and then say for each post, right? What I want to do, I want to call the view component, and I'm going to pass the title. I'm going to pass post dot title technically right here, right? So yeah, okay. So that's basically what I'm going to have here. So why is this working? Okay, isn't no, it's not. Okay, let me make sure that this is correct, and then there's going to be a post here. So we know that we're going to loop through that, but why isn't this not okay? It says it's a post, and then it doesn't find. Oh yeah, okay. You know what? I don't need this. I can just do this post, then return that part, right? So that's all I need here. I just need to loop through the post, and for each of them I will just show this, right? So what I want to do actually is just that's it. We're going to have an ugly list of posts, but we're going to fix that as we go. Right now, that's it. So if we want to try that out, just go inside the app and then say, instead of calling view component here, which is working, right? Let me remove that. What I'm going to do now is to say you're going to receive a post view, and that post view needs some data here. So I will say, for example, let's say we go here and then we say let me give you a quick list of data that will contain our data here. So let me get that back here. Okay, so we at least we have just an idea of what we will get at the end of this, right? So we have this list of posts, and then here I can, for example, say let's take post from the top, and you don't receive anything right here. So if I reload that, it's not happy because it doesn't find post view, and post view is here, and then post view arrives from here. I just need to fix that part again. So what do we have? It goes here, it has the list, so we should be able to just reload that part. Cannot find variable React. Yeah, that's correct. Cannot find React here, so React over here, and we should be able to see, as you can see now, we have our list showing. We have our list of data showing, and what I'm going to do is just say in here, when we map, this is really important. It's like when you're mapping, you need to pass a key for each element. So I'm just gonna pass that as an index, and that index is here as a number, right? Typing, giving type. So that's really important. So we see our list here. It's a bit ugly, but it does the job, right? So, but that's not really the point right here. So let's replace that by our data coming from our server. So how do we do so? What we're going to do, we're just going to write a query, right? Just going to write a query to get the list of posts. So I need a query first. So what is my query? The way I'm going to do that is just to say from here, I'm going to import a few things. I'm going to import from React Apollo, yeah, and I need two things here. I need the query mechanism, so that's the thing that I use to make the query, and then I'm going to get the query props, right? What is it? Query options. What is it? Query options right here. So I need these two basically to write my query. So the next step here is basically to write my query. So I'm gonna quickly jump a few, because we don't have much time. So I will just get some snippet here and then explain that to you, so we can use that to get much faster right here. So the way I'm going to do that, just going to say I have my query. So I need GQL. GQL is a thing you use to make a React to make queries with React Native right here. So I'm just going to install GraphQL. So GraphQL tag is basically hello Milo. GraphQL tag is basically the thing you use to make the queries like this. So the way you write queries, you basically say, I'm gonna query something, and here is the name of my query. That's the name of the query, and then I say this query will get a count number, and I just write my query this way. So that's the post, and I pass the count, so which means that like the number of elements that I want to get from it, and as a result, I want to be able to get those property right there, right? So now what I just need to know, I just need to write that this query, so the post query right here. So we can remove this for the moment. Oh yeah, I can leave it like that. So we just gonna switch from one to the other. So I don't need this, but we're going to type it in a few seconds. So I can say any, and I owe you €5, but I'm going to fix that in a few seconds. So here is my query, right? What it does is basically saying I have my query here, and I have my query that I took from React Apollo, right? And so what I did here, I just say, well, okay, I'm gonna pass you all the props that I receive, and my query is this one. So I'm just binding those two things here. So, and then once you have that query, you need to go now and plug that inside your application, right? So the way I'm going to do that, I'm just going to say like my post query here will take some props. As you can see here, it's actually a React component. I don't know if you realize that. That's a React component. So super easy here. What I'm going to do is just say, okay, let's remove that. And now we're going to add that post query. And post query, the way you say that is like the post query takes a set of variables, right? So and then that variables will be basically the count which is here, right? I'm just gonna say here like and what do I need to pass right here? I just need to pass the count, which is 10 over here. So you see there is a bit of errors because we're not typing really much. We're not really typing here. It doesn't exist on JS. Okay, you're right here. Ah, yeah, okay, I'm writing it wrong, but that should be much better right here, right? So this is the way I get that, and now I'm gonna get my list of data and then just put it right here. So what's going to happen is when you call that, you're going to receive, let me put it like this. You're going to receive a set of property, right? You're going to receive the fact that your application is loading or an error or the data, right? So that's basically what you receive when you make that query, right? So what do we have right now? So it's complaining because it's basically saying, give me any, let's say any, €5, another any, €5, another any. Well, you know what I meant right there, but we're going to fix that in a few seconds. Why aren't you happy? Okay, guess what? I'm just not gonna use any. I hate any's, and I will fix that before the end of this session. So now what I could do, what I need to do here, we don't need we don't need the loading and error and data, right? What I can just do here, you use that to kind of control how your application will behave in case there is no data, right? So let me just put it right here this way, right? So what I have right now, I'm saying, okay, if there is loading, just put it right here. Right, okay, that thing wants me to put any here, but I don't want any. Okay, that shouldn't be a problem. That shouldn't be a problem. Nothing was returned. Yeah, we need to return something right here. Now, if there is data, we need to basically return. Let's say, for example, here, let's return our let's just return a quick view, and then in that view we're going to say the text and then say data right here, right? So it says data here, so basically we should have somehow our data. But however, now I can, for example, say inside here, let's console log data. What do we have in the data, right? Okay, you probably don't see it. How can I show you? I cannot show you my I just need to show you that we received the data. Where is it? Yeah, okay, guess what? We're just going to do this right here instead of this. So we pass loading, so once it's loading, we will have this thing, the text here, and then if there is no data, we show data. However, there is data, right? So let's just say inside data, the structure we're going to have will be this one, right? So that's what we're going to have. Actually, I can see it in my terminal. If I can share my terminal with you. Yeah, I can see it here, but okay, let me share my terminal with you. I don't know if you can see it as well, but the data is here. So we get title and all this stuff right here. So if I go back and put this back right here this way, you see that I get my data right here. So I get something that is data and that has a property post with all the things we need in there, right? So let's make sure that we can show that now on the screen. So how do we do that? We're just going to say, well, we have our view, we have our the post part. It was actually like this: post dot we map, and then we said for each post which is of type iPost, or it was post basically, we're going to say return view, and then no, not this one, but view component, right? Okay, so and then here we have the title that we need to show. However, where is this title coming from? So the post here should not be the post that we have right here. We should get rid of this, because that's not what we want. What we want here is basically a way to say let's add data. So we're going to receive data, and inside data we're going to have that post. So for each post I want to say post dot title, right? So as you see, now I'm getting the data from my backend, right? And we can see more. If we go in the backend, we can say give me also the ID. So if I go here, I can see my ID right here. So now I can go back inside here and then say, instead of passing just the title here, I want to pass the title and the ID, for example. So I can say post.title and post.id, right? However, this is not typed. It is not typed, but it's gonna work. So let me go back inside my view component, and in my view component, I will say, show me one with the, for each of them, we're going to show and the thing here, and let's say, see, you see how I'm changing everything as I go? This is not a good practice. See, now you can see on the right that I have and the ID and the title, right? So it's not really beautiful. You can say that I can hear you there saying, Davy, what is that? And I'll be like, okay, that's just GraphQL. Yeah, as you can see, we see our data coming on the right. But see, I had to change many places. I had to change in many places to make that happen. However, this is not the way you will be doing it. So let me clean that up a little bit. What I will do here and say, I would just say that, okay, here, technically what you take is something of, like you take a post, right? So that's basically what that thing will take. So let me move that somewhere and then say, create a folder where I'm gonna put my tabs, and then inside here, I'm just going to say, post ts, put it here, and then export that, and then call it post, right? So that's one of them, and then which means that once I do this, I need to come here and then import that post from the other side. So that's already kind of cleaning up that thing. We can remove that part. Now here, that's actually the interesting part. Oh, we also have another place. Do you have any questions, by the way? Because you're so quiet. You either hating this, or you hating me, or you just eating and you don't pay attention. Those are the three options. The options where you like it, I didn't put it in there, but maybe that is one option as well that you don't want to tell, but that's okay. We're almost there. We're almost there. We have our data coming from our backend, right? So the only thing that I want to do here is to say, let's close this and let's have our post here. So instead of using this, once again, we can just say like this post comes from the other side, and moreover, these kind of things, the post query here, I can move that onto another file and then import that into this project, because I will be able to reuse that many times, right? But I want to just spend a few times here to type a little bit this code, right? So we did let me go here. We did a few things here. Like I want to make sure that my code is well typed. What is this? What is this post query, right? What we're going to get there, we're going to get something that contains the post, right? So that's basically the way we will do so. Okay, it's already one. What I want to show you here is the fact that you really don't know which kind of typing comes from your backend. You don't know. So you cannot just start saying, okay, in my post I only want the post part. However, what you could do, you could use a tool called Codegen that will read the code from your backend and then generate typing in your front end part, right? And with Codegen, you will now have in the front end the typing that are available on your backend part. And then based on that, you can just update your front end part and have you should be able to use to leverage those typing to make our code much safer. There is a question by Lucy. Why do we use GraphQL? Is it more compatible with React Native? No, it's not about being compatible really here. It's about okay, it's already one, but I will come back to that question, Lucy, in a few seconds if you allow me. I just want to show you something here. So let me take the Codegen. So Codegen comes with a set of configuration. So you just need like a simple configuration file. So let me show you that right here. So let's say we're going to create inside our project, we're going to create a Codegen YAML file. Okay, so that's my my configuration file right here, right? So here I just put my configuration. So as you can see, I'm pointing toward, I'm basically saying I want Codegen to generate for me typing based on this URL. What is there? It's literally this. It's our backend. So Codegen, what I do, I just tell him like, okay, this is the place where you're going to find the type I need on the front part, right? And then I tell Codegen to generate this file on the front end part that will contain all the types, right? And then what I need to do here in my code, I need to install GraphQL, yarn GraphQL, not this one. Yeah, not this one. I don't need this one. So let me get. I will show that with you. Share that with you right away. So we do that together. Codegen, right? So it's basically, you can find more information on this website right here. So so what we need to do here, we just need to get yeah, I'm gonna go on the GitHub Codegen. Yeah, not this one. I want the GitHub. Okay, GitHub was right there on my right. I just didn't look into it. So what I need to do, as you can see here, I need to just add this Codegen inside my code. Right, I go here, I add Codegen inside my application, and then since I already have a Codegen file in my project, the only thing I need to do is just to run yarn GraphQL Codegen, right? Right, now I can just say this, and what's going to happen, it will go inside that folder and then generate typing based on that configuration that I gave. It takes a few seconds, and then on the front part, okay, if it doesn't break, unable to find template matching plugin introspection. So we can yeah, that I can remove because I don't really need that part at this stage. And then run that again. Okay, I might need to, yeah, okay. I need a few more template here. So let me add that. That should come in there. Why not? Install one of the following package. Yeah, so that's what I was, I thought I had that already installed right there. TypeScript common, why can't you find that? Because you already generated something here. Where is it? Inside the generated folder. Yeah, okay. I have a little typo there, but let me make sure that this is correct. Yeah, we're almost there. I just wanted to show you one of the neat thing about using GraphQL, and because with that I'm really able to generate code on both sides that that can be aligned all the way while I'm building my project. Okay, yeah. So I think I'm missing something. I'm missing. Okay, I think I can just use that minimal configuration maybe. Let me do that, but I don't believe that it's that simple, because yeah, I'm using this, so I can set this. So if I go back right here, I can do yarn Codegen, and it should yield at me because it won't find TypeScript, which is correct. Yeah, it doesn't. Okay, that should not be an issue here. So let me go back here because that was the correct file. I'm missing something. Codegen plugin. I need those two plugins. Okay. Anyway, just to quickly recap here, because we're already over time. The thing I'm trying to say there, I'm trying to do there is basically a way for this application to, it's going to generate something like this for me. So let me just do that here. So let's say it's going to generate something like this for me. Let's say I'm gonna go here and then add generated, and then inside here I'm going to have a file like blog server.ts, and then I will be able to see something that will basically be the equivalent of what I need on the that I use on the backend. So on the backend I have a set of posts, and I have author that is a maybe, and you can see we'll just say, okay, that's a maybe author, and then it gives me a typing for post, which means that technically the typing below here, the typing here, I can remove that because I won't need it anymore. It comes already from the backend, right? I have a typing for authors, which means that now in my my code here, the way I will type my that part. So I have the post view, so we can remove that part. And what I need to do now is basically to kind of type my query right here. So let me quickly take that for you, so we can, because we're not gonna have so much time, but never mind. You will be able to see how easy, I would say, that thing could be, right? So I'm gonna pick it up here for you and then explain that in a nutshell. And I know this is gonna be a little bit difficult, but stay with me and let's talk that through. So I'm picking up this from here, and I have my query props that will come from oh yeah, here is not, yeah, from query props. No, it's query option, something like that. Yes. And now that once I have that, I can now say that here, instead of being any, this is gonna be my I props, and with that I should be able now to say what isn't working. Okay, yeah, okay. Look, I'm just gonna quickly explain here what is happening. What is happening is, like, if I go inside my query, I see in the backend that I have query, and then inside query I have the list of posts. And what I do in my thing here, I just say from the query, from this query here, I just want to get the post property. That's basically it. And then I create a set of variable based on that post, which saying that I will be able to pass a count number right here, right? And these files here, once again, as I say, will come from the server, right? We just had an issue here with Codegen, but I'm not gonna be able to, I won't be able to dive in too much on this part here. And then from that, those options here, I only want to take the queries, right? So and then I can type my thing here. So when I say props in here now, let's say const, I have my props. Oh no, not here, obviously. It's in here. So here I'm just going to return this, and if I go and say props, I can see now that I have way more things. Like you see errors. You should be able to see, like, basically the information I need to make my query much easier. The only thing that I do here, I just say I'm gonna pass you all the props right here, and then that query thing will handle that. So I will be able to help you with that if you have any questions, any more questions here. But to quickly recap what we did today, we had our simple application here. We create a view post that we type. So if we go back here, we have our view post. We type it by passing a post, and that allows us to write code a bit much easier. By the way, the post here comes from here, but now that we generated that part, we can now go back and say no, it doesn't come from there, it comes from the generated code. So let me go back inside the view, and then you will say, well, okay, it doesn't come from here obviously anymore. You say it comes from post, should come from the blog server. What is it? It's right here. It's this one that I want. So I will go back inside the view and say import that like this from, we go one more level, generated, and then we take a blog server, and then from here I can say take the post property, and it doesn't find it. Why? Because blog server is here. Yeah, it should be able to find it. Not sure why it doesn't. If you go here, yeah, it takes us to the right thing, and that's the post. And I export this. Well, okay. Yeah, weird thing here. It has no exported member post. It does. Well, okay. As you can see, yeah, it's sometimes you get those weird stuff, but I believe it's just I'm missing something right here. So as I was quickly recapping here, so you get that post view that we create, and with that post view, what we did, we just wrote a query, and then using that query, we were able to get our data. And if you remember, all this stuff here were in errors. Now they're not anymore because of the typing. And then we're handling that. We receive the data that comes from our backend right here, and we use that to display the data on the front part. Okay. So questions, Lucy said, why do we use GraphQL? Is more compatible with React Native? No, GraphQL is basically a way to access data from anywhere, from any kind of sources, and it's not a React Native thing. To even be more precise, it was at the beginning it was quite difficult to get it working with React Native. Because the integration with React was well done. The integration with Angular, even Angular was still kind of pending, but it did work at the end. So GraphQL is technology agnostic, really. The only thing in our code today that makes it like, oh, GraphQL and React is just that library, React Apollo. Yeah, that's the only thing that makes it like React Apollo, but you're gonna also find Angular Apollo for that matter. Yeah. Okay. Cool, people. Any other questions? Questions. Yeah. Okay. So as we're wrapping up here, if you want to know more, you can go on Hackages.io. We have you can subscribe to our channel. You're gonna have more of this webinar coming, and we're gonna be sharing more content there, shorter videos that explain those things in a more elaborated way. However, would you be interested in me doing this as a tutorial, like a step-by-step process? Is there something you will be interested in? Like we're rebuilding that app entirely and doing this like a step-by-step with explaining each thing, like not like a webinar when I just go and if it doesn't work, it's okay. But like a step-by-step process, will it be something for you? Thanks, Hank. And hopefully for the newcomers, this was a good first session for you to learn about TypeScript and React and React Native. Welcome, Milena. Hopefully that was a good first step for you. We have like quite some webinar we did already in the past, so you can also go back on our YouTube channel and look into those webinars. Thank you, Manjit. Thanks. That was a good feedback there. Yeah, that's it for me on for this week. And there is something that is important is to stay consistent. So we're gonna see you again next week, same time, and we're gonna have more TypeScript stuff coming your way. And I think the good way for me will be try to dive a little bit more on the integration between the front end and the back end using GraphQL. And so that's basically that will be the right direction to go. Or something even funnier will be to have the same app written in React and React Native and then share the code between the two apps. Is it something you will be interested in? Okay, I froze right there. Okay, people, if there is no more question, I thank you all. Thank you, Bruno. Yeah, TJ, yeah, we're gonna check. We're gonna see. Yeah, it's something we're already working on. So this is just another idea that we can put together. Okay, people, see you next week, next time, and get the ball rolling. Keep hacking out there. Don't ever stop learning. Otherwise you become obsolete. Oh yeah, actually, Jonathan, that's exactly what I wanted to go. Like it's literally the place where I wanted to to go, but we're just short in time, and that's why I installed React Apollo hooks. Yeah. Thank you, people. Okay, maybe I would just do what Jonathan suggests. It's like next week, I will just migrate this application to React to hooks, and then add more typings and show you the power of generating typing from the backend. That's a good idea. Fantastic. Let's do that. Okay. Bye. It's weird because I cannot hear you talk. It's only me talking, but yeah. Yeah. I have an idea of the way we can do those webinars differently. Like, we don't call them webinar, we call them like come together and hack, and then we can hear each of us, like each other, we can talk in the room. That will be much better, because when I'm only talking, it feels alone. Yeah. Anyway. Yeah. Bye bye.